Okay, well there you go. Okay, so daily trials then. Leeds, I was very, very honoured to work on the trials this year, along with the boys, and certainly Mr. Fowler. And had some good times. 40 varieties we had, about 160 plants, so four plants of the new variety, and plus a sport. So if it's a sport, we need the parent plus the 4 plants. There's 12 judges, 6 from the EC, 6 from the Northern Committee. They get 36 judgings, or there's an opportunity for 36 judgings. Giants have to be judged 12 times, and 12 times, and the others have to be judged 20 times. And there's a pointing system that's used. Okay, so don't make it up. That's what it is. It's nothing to do with me, that marking system. Growing single rows. There's 8 rows altogether. 2 half rows in the polytunnel, and we planted out what was about the 4th or the 5th of June, didn't we? This time, something like that. And there we are. Leaky hose. I'm not talking about Fowler, by the way. He's not going to leak yours. But what we do, it has a slight slope on it, was the golden acre part. So we put the leaky hose this side, and hopefully they all get enough moisture. But this year they did suffer a little bit, because the chap who normally looks after them for us, turning the taps on, his boss turned them off at night. So whereas normally they're on for a good 12 hours, you know, but they got turned off. So one or two did suffer a little bit. There we go. So they're all in, they're all having a chat down there. See, all in court, look at that. That's why we're calling the council. Look. Yeah, they're all in. This post has been removed in case it causes offence. Okay, so no. Growing through the nets, it's amazing what you catch now and again. And there he is again, Mr. Fowler. And we actually caught Michael working right there. And this is the beast on the east, and there's a director there in the back there. So we get there. So we grow through these, a double net, not a single net. These are a double net we put on. And because they're single rows, they're quite easy to manage, those, Mark. Yeah. But when you get double rows, although Stuart grew very, very well through nets for a long time. I'd far sooner grow through the canes. So this is the tunnel, and there's a queen at the back there. And this is the tunnel where we grow through with canes rather than through the nets. And this is usually Mr. Fowler's territory, this. We can't get in there, he won't let us in. So now judging, 24th of August, we're looking to start the judging. So 6 of us from the northern side will judge one week, then the 6 the week after. That's how it goes, isn't it, Ian? Yeah. Ian Ledger's in charge of the team. Well, he thinks he is. He's in charge. He's in charge, really.
Totally agree.
But in name only, Ian's chairman. And there's a love child doing his first judging, along with myself. We were both judging virgins. Okay, so these are the varieties then. This was late on in the season when I took this one, so it looks very decky. But I'll tell you what, guys, that would win for anybody on the first judging. It was brilliant, absolutely super. Stems, foliage, bloom, everything about it was super. But then the week after, it was a bloody ball, and then the week after that, it was a deck. So it kept changing forms. But what a cracking Dahlia that is. Whatever it ended up being, I think it ended up being a miniature balling finish, isn't it? Very balling. So there you are. That's a large. And then this one, everybody. What the sales like, David?
Pretty good on that.
Pretty good. Yeah, I've heard they're pretty good. Yeah. So Rosemary Brush. So this one was a sport of this one, Rosemary Dawn, sported for David Hall on his site, and he told me earlier he likes this variety because he doesn't have to pay any royalties on it. The only royalties he's got to pay is to sue. City Flirt, unfortunately, not a super, what should we say, variety of what it can be. Because when I saw it up at Hall's, it was super. It really was. These plants seem to a little bit squat. Is Phil still with us, Phil?
I'm still here, yeah.
You know, I mean...
I had some lovely plants on my plot.
Yeah.
What happened to them on the trails?
Well, we lost 2.
Yeah.
And we only ended up with 2. And they were short, and the blooms were okay, but they weren't anything like the sort of Halls.
To be honest,
No, but I did have some good plants.
That was from the USA. This one was tremendous. But I was saying to Kenny earlier that when we first saw it, the first day we come to judge it, the profile of it looked fantastic, beautiful and round. You looked at the centres, and every one of them was smiling at you. Everyone. You wouldn't give it tuppence. But then the week after, a couple of weeks later, tremendous form. So that's a mini ball from Kenny Shaw. And I believe, is Ken still in?
Yeah.
Yeah. I believe it's from Ella Grace, yeah?
Yes,
Along with this one. That was from Ella Grace as well. You know, miniature deck rather than a ball, yeah? Or not?
it's hard to tell, isn't it?
It's hard to tell on there, isn't it?
I would say it was more ball than deck.
It is more ball, definitely.
50.
Yeah.
Definitely. Lovely variety, but for me, and I don't know about the others who judged it, the angles were all over the place. All over the place. You know, you'd have to certainly do some ragging out with it, but it was a lovely, lovely thing. It looked good on the plot. It really did. So Jake's choice. This one I got off Roger Downton, and he sent it to the trials as well. And I didn't think of it bad at all. Miniature ball. The only thing I would say is that towards the bottom of it and towards the back, it tended to have a little bit bigger petal than what we used to. But it was good. They were very, very powerful stems. No marking, no fading on it. And like I said, really strong stems, but perhaps a little bit big petal for what we're after in a miniature, maybe. Blyton Janice, all the Blytons, I don't know what it was, but none of them got out the foliage until very, very late on. You know, whether that's something in the makeup, I don't know. I haven't grown many Blytons, but there are a lot of them down in the foliage. Great colour. It's miniature decorative from a Sutherland. Similarly, with a lot of the dark varieties and that, we're tending to get these white petals that sometimes appear. They're easy to pull out, but you know, if you can do without it, the better. But there you are. That's another one off Les, and that one's Blyton Randa. Blyton Mont Blanc, miniature deck again, right down in the foliage. I think it was more a bit too big a petal, really, was it, Andrew? That, do you think, for a miniature? But it was okay. Nothing to shout about. And we are looking at varieties for sure. Remember, this weren't bad. This looks all right. Again, really strong stems from Tom Clegg. This one. Miniature decorative can do. I don't know what he can't do, but he can do. And it was okay. Probably one that you'd all grow for the local shows. Possibly not for a national. This time again, one from Tom Clegg. Miniature deck again. Lovely colour, but nothing to write home about. Centres weren't all decent. But you know, we can only do what we get. You know,
More petal count.
yeah, probably. Western. This was one of God's. This was the prize for the lady who entered for. She won the prize and named it Westerton. Oh, with two N's there. Western Lady Gwenda. Lovely variety. It looked good, but it did fade an awful lot. You know, so perhaps it's one that needs covering, needs some shade. But certainly, if you're going to show it, it's You wouldn't win much of that, would you? You know, with the shady bastard. Eastwood chain, a small decorative from John Sharp.
That's a character.
Character took all the weather, better undercover, but certainly outside. Grown 12 up, at least 12 up, and still made the size. And that's what 50 years on from Eastwood Moonlight. Well, that's a small, of course. Grey Milk, Kilburn Star, semi-cactus. First blooms look great, and Dave Fowler thought maybe it'd be better as a medium. So it might be better grown as a medium, because those petals look a bit big, don't they, really? For small. Yeah. And then when, as the weeks went on, all the plants decided to give up on us. And what was it, David? It's compost, was it?
It was some compost he bought.
Yeah.
All his pot children at home, his plants at home, and those plants all looked as if they'd been virus.
Yeah.
It was something that was in the compost.
Yeah.
Looks like it was weed killer.
It did. It looked like herbicide as well, didn't it? A bit. So we've invited. I think we've invited that back.
He's been invited back.
And we'll have a look at it again. This one was. This is a poor bloom. I do apologise, Gordon, but I couldn't photograph anything else. Western Beaver. This is the one that's going to be renamed, I think. Is it? Yeah. Is this the one that we're having for the prize, the raffle?
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
NP Juliet.
NP Juliet.
Effie.
All right.
Western Effie Juliet.
Effie Juliet.
All right. Very good. We'll put that on the new varieties next year then. Downham Peggy, large Pompon from John Sharp. This was actually his daughter's. Now, unfortunately, his daughter used to be on when we were on, Mark, on she was called Moonlight on Garden Friends, and about 5 years ago she had a seizure and died. And this was one of her seedlings. So anything that's round and decky and bally is the Downham variety. Anything that's spiky is an Eastwood, basically. You know. So David Hall has got this on release, and doing okay, David, or not?
It's still okay, certainly. Everybody loved it last year because of the bigger it is. Very tall, strong colour.
Yeah.
And it was the colour.
And how did you describe the colour?
Like, it dusky purple.
Dusky purple, I love
very
that.
popular amongst the ladies at the minute.
Lovely. Again, Blyton Cloud 9. Now, that's what we were judging, and this was right at the end of the season. Out the foliage and a lovely bloom. You know, so, I don't think it helped the fact that the plants that we received off Les were about that tall. Was about 2 foot tall, weren't they? You know, so we had to cut them down a bit, and perhaps he didn't like that. But you can only work what you've got, you know. But that I would say is a pretty reasonable bloom, isn't it? You know, it's a lovely bloom, isn't it? You know, I mean, you cut that for a show today, tomorrow that'd be perfect, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like that. Barbarry Mystery, a little bit of a disappointment, Barry, if you don't mind me saying.
Yeah.
Beautiful on your plot when I came down.
Yeah.
Superb the first year I had it, and then for some reason it tended to get that bit of a yellow blush with it. I don't know what went wrong with it, you know. But lovely strong plants, you know, no wobbly necks or anything. They weren't bad at all. But it probably needs growing again. Just have a look at it again. Yeah. Swan Lake, small ball. Yeah. Definitely a small ball, but again down in the foliage. So perhaps wrong to assess it, but we can only judge what was there, can't we? You know. Steve Burns. I saw this back in 2017 at Steve's place, and I said, "Oh, what's that?" I said, "Oh, it's one of my seedlings. I've had it about 5 years." I said, "Well, let me have some stock of it. We'll have a look at it." So I grew it 18, and it was only released in 19, believe it or not. And everybody thinks it's been around a long time, and it hasn't. It's only been released on release, really, and not from the likes of David. I mean, I think you've only just been selling this, have you, Dave?
2 years.
Yeah, 2 years, you know.
Year after
Yeah.
it was available.
So, you know, I mean, people say, well, why can't it go in the trials? Well, why can't it? It's not been sold, you know. Terracotta, really strong stems, beautiful colour when you see it in real life, and a lovely centre. All right, a little bit raggy around the bottom here, you know, but I mean, you show me some that aren't. I mean, properly grown and looked after in your exhibition garden might be fantastic. But again, something that probably is better on the market. What a lovely variety this is. Strong plant. I have to grow it about 12, 14 up. Because it's a slight reflex on it, it's deceptive when you get the ring on it. It's right up to the ring. You know, it's difficult. So, you know, 14 up, good value, good return. The only criticism about it, needs a bit of potash because it's just got a slight wobble on its neck, but it's a super variety. No fading, it was in the sunshine there, no fading at all, cracking variety, and plenty of petal in that one.
What went wrong at Wigley? Because you took your van load down and everything.
They were too big. Like I said, they're too big.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah.
So it's a shame, really, because it's such a lovely thing.
Yeah.
Nice foliage and everything. Just sad, really. And then you get things like this, and we know they're for show, but you get this, and we had not hundreds, but lots and lots and lots of bloom on this, but it's not a show variety, is it? It's a, you know, it's a garden variety, but quite a pleasant thing, really. You know. This one was sent as a small deck. It was definitely a medium deck. Again, down in the foliage. I don't know who this chap is, William Craig, anybody? No? Tracy Diane, looked fantastic, absolutely super. Really did, from Robin Moyes. It's threatened to sport white for a lot of years, hasn't it? You know, and it's secured now, and that's Tracy Diane, on release from Halls, if anybody wants any. He's got some in his car. But it damps, just the same as Diane does. Hilda's Bliss, this didn't damp. Hilda's Bliss, one of Roger Doughton's from down south, and not bad, named after his mother-in-law. Again, needs growing again, I think.
Looks a little bit heavy.
It is. I think it needs growing more up on it.
Just about.
It wants a bit more side shoots leaving on it, you know, but it weren't bad at all. I thought it had great potential. And then this is shorter petal, of course, you know. I mean, this is again off Roger Doughton, Sport of Cheryl Megan, but it's one that will probably, you know, they'll love this. The general flower people, I'm sure, you know. But it's a sport of that, you see, and there's no doubt that it'll probably sport pink as well before long. There's a parent. Looks a lot more petal in that, doesn't it, than that. You know, but it's good. It's good. That's not bad bloom there, is it? You know. Western Star, small semi-cactus from Gordon. Bit too big a petal, maybe, Gordon.
Yeah, for the size.
Yeah, and a little bit untidy. Well, certainly down at 5:30, 6:30, isn't it? You know. But again, you know, I mean, grown properly, might be different again. I mean, in your garden, I don't mean that we don't grow properly. And then this one, that didn't even get through the first lot of nets, that was at best 18-inch plants, those. So, you know, Clearview, Dorothy, that's the second year we've had it, I think, in the trials. Yeah. Somewhere right here. Yeah. And from Parcells in USA. These are the garden varieties that we got in. So this is Emma Jane Collerette, probably out of Pooh. Ash by Janet, a Collerette from Mr. Got there. It looked really nice. It really did. A good size, lovely, well overlapped. And I think the not that I know an awful lot about them, but they're in the relation, aren't they? The collar to the petal. You know, whether the split in here is a split or just a notch. I think it's just a notch as it goes over, but very, very nice and an unusual colour, you know. But looked great, really did. This one, Truman, one of Tracy Parkinson's. This is named after a rugby player, yeah? Yeah. He flowered his head off all season, all season long. And it was super, it really was. Lovely 5-foot plants, wiry stems, super, really was. Peanut, I believe it's better than that, but on the day, that's all I had to photograph. It does sit flatter than that, I believe. Mr. Lovechild tells me it does anyway. Adrian's bubblegum. Do you want to say anything about this, David?
No, it's just brilliant.
It is brilliant. It is brilliant, and attracts all the hoverflies and bees and everything. And Mr. Fowler loved this. How much time did he spend on these, Andrew? Well, and
I do believe he got some seed off it.
Stealing all the buds and everything, didn't he?
It's on sale.
Yeah, I believe so. Adrian Summerwide, again, holds a bed, and no royalties on this either, David, eh?
Well, it's just not natural seedlings.
Beautiful.
The
depth of colour is tremendous, isn't it?
I think the other good thing is they flower throughout the season.
And it flowered right through the period of when we had it, you know. In fact, we left them in, and they were still blooming in November. And we left them in for the park. Gillian, this is again sensitive garden variety, but I think you'll agree that's as good as some of the others. You know? So it'd be worth having a look at, wouldn't it?
Yeah,
you know?
absolutely.
Great stems, right at the foliage, strong stems, it wasn't bad at all. But that's just shorter petals, so perhaps, yes, that is a garden variety. But from the same razor. This was lovely. Real striking colour when you went into the tunnel, and Lady Jane from Roger Doughton again. But certainly not a show variety, but it looked great. Really did. And this is the People's Choice box that Ian Hill knocks up and looks after, and he's rigging the vote there, I think.
How many people voted, Ian?
700.
Well, I put 500 in and I still didn't.
Oh, well, he's checking them out. That's what the problem is.
And that's the People's Choice winner. And it was Andrew reckons it was the winner because it was the side of the box. Is that right, Andrew? Emma Jane. Oh, the trials results. So Steve Burns, you knew that anyway because he's got his medal. And contrary to popular belief, certainly of some of the members down south, if you'd taken my vote out for this and Andrew's votes out, it still would have won. Am I right?
Yeah.
So Tracy, Diane, silver medal. As I say, beautiful. Really was good. But it damps. It still damps, you know. But I'm sure that it'll do some winning.
It's a bicolour.
It's a bicolour.
Right up front, brown.
And then silver medal award for John Sharp's Eastwood Jane. I think, you know, he's got some potential. This grows like a kiwi, and you can grow it 12 up, no problem at all. Bronze medal went to Rosemary Blush. Again, flowered his head off all season. So that's the bronze medal, and then Adrian's Bubblegum was judged the best garden variety simply because the amount of bloom it produced all season. It is. It was fantastic.
Yes.
Beautiful. Same with that. Second, And then third was place was Roger Doughton's Lady Jane. So, maintenance team then. We do over 24 weeks, we go every week, in excess of 6,000 miles, approximately 75 hours per volunteer, 375 hours plus, and the payment, a mug of coffee and a toasted tea cake.
As long as you get them before night.
I thought he was praying, Michael, there, but apparently he was trying to get the jam open.
Trying to get the jam off the jam jar.
That'll be the second one, though.
That'll be the second jam jar.
Yes.
All at breakfast time as well.
There's the team. So Beast from the East, Mike, the boss, Smee, Love Child, Ian Ledger, chairman. David Fowler, aka the council, Andrew the Love Child, who's taking lessons off David to lean. Beast from the East. He's very, very good. He's very handy, is Ian, with the old tools, isn't he? The woodworking and everything. He's good.
And not the post.
And there we are. T-boy. T-boy.
It takes guts to wear a pair of pants.
And he never give that ball back to the children. Sweet, recently retired. I got in trouble for using the rake too fast. Is that right, David?
Well, it's a council always that. It's about a yard every 3 hours plus a cup of tea.
And this is how we get controlled on the trials. This is how we get treated. That's Alistair in the back who looks after the plot for us when we're not there. So he'll turn the water on and that, and so that's how we get treated. And Andrew has to fasten his shoelaces for him. So this is the 28th of October. We went down, and guess what? We couldn't rag out that day because we still got bloody balloons on. So we had to go the week after. I got there about 10 to 8, and this man started to cut down with his... And he's very, very considerate to the neighbours, because that was a battery one, wasn't it, you were using? So it was very quiet. And then he says, "You call that a bloody cutter? Look at mine's far bigger than yours."
Well, the what do you call him? The parks manager lives in that house.
Yeah.
I couldn't wake him up at 8 o'clock.
So he's just going to spile out his fingers, I think. Though.
Right.
Yeah. Well, we cut them out, and funnily enough, within 2 hours, we've got it all cleared. From arriving, we were there about an hour before, but from 8 o'clock to 5 to 11, we got it cleared. And there's Jeff there as well, Mr. Gardner, and there's Andrew with his blower. He does a good blowing job with that. So completed by 10:45. This gentleman here, Daily Royalty from Down Under, was late on the first day, virtually planted out. So he was set to with the rough soil. Need to break that up. That'll teach you next time, Mr. Hall. Queen of the Pompons, Dr. Oily, 003.5, Dr. Oh no. He had his tool on hand and he kept putting his tool into the soil. And there's the chair. He's just doing a little bit of wet training, I think, for the strongest man. Other daily celebs, so we've got young Mr. Stoddard, young Mr. Kenny Shaw, and I think you are the youngest there, Gordon, aren't you? And there's Gordon.
We're taking lessons off there as well.
Yeah, I think so. I think with a stance, yeah. So I think, Kenny, you're a young 92, are you?
91.
91, sorry to age you. That, believe it or not, is Mr. Fowler giving me money, but I'm telling you now, it took me 10 minutes to get it out of his hands. It's easy with a pound coin because they've got edges on and you can get a spanner on them, but I couldn't get them out. And they're Bill and Ben. So these are other new varieties. I'll whip through these. So these. Do you want to say anything about these, Jack?
Good.
I had the benefit of going to Jack, whether he liked it or not, during the summer, and some of the gear that he's got on there is fantastic. I mean, he grows his plants, believe it or not, 6 inches apart.
Yeah. 6 inches by 9 inch.
6 inch by 9 inch, and he's still getting the size on the likes of Ruskin Avenger.
You put the food in and get what you
Incredible, absolutely incredible. You know. So this is some of his seedlings. You know, you couldn't pluck many petals out of that though, could you really?
Are we still on dahlias? No, Barry.
That's by Gene Coates. Who's that named after?
Jane Coates.
Yeah, but who is she?
It's up to a lad down south that sent me the seed. It came into flower. I sent him a photo and he died the following Friday.
Oh no! So excited to
It's
see.
named after his mother from Bradford.
Right. Look, great colour, isn't it? Beautiful colour. Is the colour not a bit sparse? Or is it
I
alright?
think it's just a photo.
Yeah. Probably. But I think that's superb, mate. That's quite candy. Lovely. Yeah. It's nearly as good as your star Dahlia, that, David? No question. No answer.
He's asleep.
Oh, is this asleep? Probably. I would have been. That's lovely, isn't it? What a cracking colour that is. It reminds me of Kilburn Glow when we first saw it.
Yes.
Remember?
Yes.
When it's so iridescent and that. It's lovely.
That's
Is
seed
that?
out of Gwynedd.
Yeah. Lovely. I saw that when I came up, didn't I?
Yeah.
Lovely. Very nice. Mr. Jackson, do you want to...